Hello, my name's Rebecca and welcome to the weekend reading vlog. This weekend I'm going to be reading a book by the famous Hannah Brown. She was on The Bachelorette. She was the Bachelorette on The Bachelorette years and years ago when I used to watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I really love her. She had some like super iconic moments. She did something 3 times with one of the bachelors in a windmill. She took down this guy who just looks like you just want to punch him in the face. And I think she's really good at like knowing her brand and knowing her audience. So I'm really excited. She's also seems very, very intelligent. She's hopefully going to show that in this book that she wrote. It's a romance book. It recently came out. It's Mistakes We Never Made by obviously Hannah Brown. She knows that we're buying this book because it's her, right? She's very smart. I got this from the library. I'm not spending like, I'm guessing probably like $35 on this hardback romance that I'm probably not going to read again. But this romance, Mistakes We Never Made, I think the only trope is forced proximity. And it's about the main character has this guy in her life that she almost dated like several times, but they never did anything. And finally, they have mutuals who are getting married and they live in the same area, so they're going to road trip together to this wedding. So I think most of this plot happens during this road trip. It looks like it happens in like Nevada, New Mexico, that kind of area. So I think it's going to be a good summer read. I think, it's a romance. Hopefully it goes by quickly. Also, it's like, yeah, I feel like this book is I'm gonna fly through it. And then I also wanted to rewatch her season, but you have to pay like $2 per episode, and I'm not about to do that. So I am gonna listen to some recap podcasts or recap YouTube videos of her last season to just remind myself, who is Hannah Brown? What is she about? What are some things to look out for? So I'm gonna make some predictions before we even start. I haven't really looked at anything at all besides just like this front cover thing. Wondering how spicy it is. That's my first prediction. I think it's gonna be less. I'm not very good at like the chili peppers, but I think it's gonna be less spicy than Fourth Wing, but more spicy than this book I just finished reading, which is The Study of Drowning. So that's kind of like my spice range where I think she's gonna land. What are my other predictions? I think both characters are gonna be white and there's gonna be no people of color in this book. Maybe one. There'll be one person of color in this book. And then my last prediction is that there'll be at least 3 throwbacks to her Bachelorette season in some kind of way, whether it's a windmill or something else. So I think those are my 3 predictions for this book. It's Friday. I recently got off work and I'm gonna try to finish this book this weekend. It's really warm outside, so I might do some pool reading, might do some beach reading. I haven't decided yet. Back from the park, I read about 50 pages of the book just to give you guys an idea of my first kind of initial thoughts. I do find it a little bit cheesy, though I do find a lot of romance a little bit cheesy. I do think it has a lot of potential, like there's a lot of characters. So the book starts off with the main character being the maid of honor for her best friend's wedding, which is in Malibu, and they're all from, I think, somewhere in the South, like Texas or Georgia or something. And she has this guy who, you know, they've always kind of had a thing for each other, but never really done anything. And it's been very like on again, off again, but never like gotten to a point of like a relationship. And he's also at the wedding and she like bumps into him. But I don't think this is a spoiler. It was within the first like 30 pages. The bride freaks out before the wedding and she goes off to San Diego for some reason. And that's kind of where I'm at in the book. But yeah, I feel like the romance has a good potential. I'm not as big a fan of like enemies to lovers, but I kind of like this sort of somewhat enemies. Like you kind of have had tension before in your relationship because of like old beef from high school. So I do think that that is kind of an interesting concept of like you wronged me in some way back, but we've always kind of like been attracted to each other. My initial thoughts on this is that I think she's writing this for people who hate California because the amount of jabs she does towards California is kind of like uncalled for within like 50 pages. It's a little bit uncalled for, Hannah, okay? I might have a little bit of beef with the fact that this is based in California and people can just zip over all parts of California just real fast, real fast. So Malibu to San Diego doesn't seem like it would be that far of a drive, but let's remember that you're going through LA. And then the highway getting down is like 2 lanes. So yeah, let's yeah. Anyway, that's my beef. That's my beef with Hannah. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I've made some tea now. I'm gonna watch a little bit of Netflix and read a little bit until I go to sleep tonight. I don't have much going on for a Friday night, so I'm just gonna kind of chill out. Good morning. My hair is very much not dry yet, but hopefully it'll just dry in the car. I'm gonna pack up chai and we're gonna go get some breakfast, and then it's by this kind of like park area where he likes to go and watch the ducks and the birds. And there's also airplanes. He doesn't care about the airplanes. But we're gonna do that, and then I have like an intro Pilates class that I'm kind of nervous about. But I'm gonna be reading my book during that time. Come back and I'll give you guys another update. Hello, I am back from Pilates and I have finished pages and I owe you guys a update. And one thing I will say is that I'm liking it a lot more than I did my last reading update. She's giving you a lot more of the backstory between the two main characters, and I feel like that really makes me want to root for the relationship a little bit more, or like understand what happened back in high school, back in like early college days. So that's making me a lot more invested in this book. The main plot too is kind of like running around all over trying to find this bride, and I find that like that's like fun. It's not like the most interesting plot, but it is fun. I want to get out of the apartment a little bit. I don't know where exactly I'm gonna go, but I do want to get out of the apartment. All right, I found parking by Super Bloom, which is a coffee shop by the bay, Mission Bay, which is like still salt. It's whatever. It's like a beach. It's where people go boating a lot, and there's lots of grass and places to sit and read. So this is actually perfect, and it didn't look like the line was too long for like a coffee or a matcha. I've been feeling like matcha so much today. I don't know what it is. I'm such a coffee person, but matcha sounds so good. So we'll see. But yeah, I found some parking and we're gonna read and look at some books. I've made it a little bit past 200 pages and I'm actually liking it more and more as I read it. I really like the love interest. The main character, I'm kind of like, girl, you're the problem. You are the problem, which I don't mind in a book as long as like it's recognized later on. So hopefully it's recognized. Also, I think one of my predictions was that none of the main characters were gonna be people of color. The love interest you find out at page 175 is not white, probably black, but she doesn't say specifically. I think this love interest comes in by like page 10 or 20. So it's kind of weird that we don't know that he's not white until page 175. But you know, good for you, Hannah. It's not all white, guys. We like it. We like, you know, that. But yeah, I guess she never describes what the guy looks like until way actually she never actually describes what he looks like. She only describes what the women look like, which is really interesting to me. I don't think any of the guys she actually describes. Chai, you got something to say about the book? I don't think she describes what any of the guys actually look like, but she gives a lot of descriptions to the women, which is interesting. It's not bad or good, it's just an interesting thing. But Chai wants me to give him attention, so I'm gonna continue reading and maybe give him a little bit of a cuddle. Hello, good morning. It is Sunday and it is oppressively hot here. Hi, Chai. It's oppressively hot here, and I did a little bit of reading last night. I'm probably not gonna do any right now. I just went and got groceries. I went and got coffee. In maybe an hour, I'm gonna go to a zoo walk with some friends. I want to do my hair cute. I'm just feeling like I'm already feeling so hot. I don't have AC here. Chai wants to go outside even though it's like already 80 degrees. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing little buns, but I feel like those won't last. I'm not sure. I want to do it a little bit cuter than my normal bun I do on the weekdays. So I'm going to try a few things out and go to the zoo walk. And then I'll probably stay inside with like a lemonade or an iced water, iced coffee or whatever the rest of the day today. Or I'm gonna find somewhere with AC and read and do things. All right, I made braids, which I was gonna make into buns, but I think I'm just gonna leave as braids. And then I'm gonna wear my absolutely obsessed with orca hat and sunglasses. So I'm gonna like pull my hair back a little bit more. But I don't know, this is out a little bit, but or it's just gonna like fall out. Maybe I'll just re-braid this one. And then I need to leave in 30 minutes, so I might just do a little bit of braiding. So hot outside. I think, let me check. We were there for an hour and 45 minutes. Just got too hot. I'm gonna go home and eat a mango popsicle and drink a bunch of water. It's way too hot. It was still really fun. It's way too hot. officially finished Mistakes We Never Made by the Hannah Brown, and I'll go into my prediction. So one of my predictions was that there'll be at least 3 references to The Bachelorette. I think there's really only one. One of her friends was like also in like a romantic love reality TV show, but there wasn't really any other references to The Bachelorette, which I actually appreciated. Like, obviously, she's using her name and her celebrity-dom to sell it, but the story itself doesn't, I wouldn't have guessed it was written by Hannah Brown, a reality TV star, when reading it. So I really did actually enjoy that part. The other one was that there would be no people of color. It wasn't very clear, like the races of everybody. Like I said before, the love interest is non-white. We don't really know what race he is, but he's non-white. And then his like ex-girlfriend is, I believe, Indian. Then my last prediction was the spiciness level. I predicted that it was somewhere between A Study in Drowning, which is like pretty low spice, to Fourth Wing, which I would say is like medium. And that was pretty spot on. I feel like I was really spot on with the spice level. It was like not a lot of spice in here, but some. So just to know, there's a little bit of spice in here, but not really a lot at all. And it's kind of like speckled throughout the book. But yeah, so my thoughts about this book were that it was honestly a solid beach read, a solid plane read, right? It wasn't anything out of this world, didn't blow my mind, but it was also like fairly enjoyable to read. I got through it really quickly. It's like midday Sunday already, and I kind of like slowly read it throughout the weekend. So I think this is like, you know, if you got it on Kindle or whatever for the beach for your vacation, not a bad one. I think a traveling one. So I think it's like a nice summer read. I probably wouldn't pay whatever it costs. It's probably like $30 or so. I wouldn't pay that much at all for that. But it wasn't terrible. I did find the ending pretty rushed. I felt that the beginning and the ending did feel very rushed to me, and it didn't really, like, she like sped everything up really quickly in the beginning, and then at the end it was like everything happened very quickly. And there's a lot of loose ends. For example, they were like going to find the bride who's her best friend, and we never actually find out what the bride was doing that whole freaking time. And I was like, that was like the biggest reason why I wanted to get to the end, because I was like, what is the bride doing? Like, why did she go to all these places? Like, we kind of found out a little bit of stuff, but not really at all. Yeah, so that was kind of frustrating for me. But generally, I would say it's like a solid 3-star read. I enjoyed reading it. I found the characters likable enough. Yeah, Hannah Brown actually, you know, Hannah Brown, you surprised me. I also, they did sort of like show that the main character was basically the problem that whole time. So I also did appreciate that. So even though 3 stars isn't a lot, I was honestly expecting, you know, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, and this surprised me. Those are my thoughts. Let me know, have you watched Hannah's season? What do you like her? Do you not like her? Have you read the book? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.